What's good, family? Mic check. I think the mic is working. What's good? Thank you all for joining my live stream. I am Chiefdryno. Thank you all for uh, helping the channel grow. I am very excited this juncture where I have over 500 subscribers. So last week I came on and I asked you guys to work with me to make 500 subscribers, and we did that, and my channel had grown a few more subscriptions. So I want to extend my gratitude to all of you and saying a great thank you to all my new subscribers and all my existing subscribers as well. Thank you so much for bringing me this far or thus far. Uh, my channel is very African centered. Okay, so yeah, be warned. Okay, but yeah, for those who love Africa, for those of you who see the motherland as the future of humanity, you know, is a homeland for all everyone of African descent. Okay, this is your channel. This is your channel. There's so much happening on the continent that I cannot even keep up myself. Like every day in day out there's a whole new plethora of developments happening on the continents. We're talking about infrastructural development, education, finance, economics, peace, from coup d'etats to protest, instability to stability. Everything is happening on the continent, and it's 2019. As marked by the year by the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, as the year of return. I say it's the year of the liberation of the African mind. Okay, so the global awakening of the African. Okay, the spirit within us, from the motherland is waking us all up. And this is the time we need to really connect with one another. Connect with everyone of African descent, and just go build the mother continent. The least you could do is to join the movement. Okay, the least you could do is to join the movement and support the movement, and encourage others that want to go build, encourage them to do so. Okay, but we have no room for detractors. All right, we have no room for detractors. I want to have a look at who is with me right now, currently with me, before I commence. Okay, I have a few articles that I would like to share, but I actually don't have a lot of time. But I'll do my best to cover all the articles and create talking points so we can discuss. All right. So I would also like to share the stream. So if you're with me, please share the stream, share and invite your friends to come and join, and let's have this discussion. It is also school holidays in Australia, so I mean Melbourne. Don't know about other parts of Australia, but Melbourne, Victoria, it's school holidays. We're currently sitting at 514 subscribers. So yeah. Who is here with me? I think one person is watching, but let us know who you are, family. Please let us know who you are. I welcome you to my live stream. Google Hangout is phasing out. Apparently in August, they're going to start phasing out Google Hangout, and I'm not too sure about what's coming out next. I think it's Google Meet or something like that. I'm not too sure, but we'll see how that works. But yeah. Greetings, family. Panther Assad, thank you for joining the stream. Panther Assad, can you hear me well? Can you hear me perfectly? And let us know. Thank you so much for joining the stream. All right. Yeah. I would like to talk about a few things today. Let's just hope we'll get some few more people in. Let's get some few more people in before I start. Okay. There's a whole lot happening on the continent that I myself cannot keep up with. So much every day. There's new development happening. And it's just great. Okay, it is just great. Everybody wants a piece of Africa, So why not we Africans in the diaspora? Okay, thank you. You can hear me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Why not we Africans in the diaspora connect with the mother continent? Okay, recognize our Africanness, right? So without much ado, I'm going to share the stream first, and then before we commence, right? Uh, okay, just a couple of seconds, family. So how's it going, Panther Sad? Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you're up to right now. All right, tell us what you're up to. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna share with my WhatsApp group. Um, yeah. All right. Sorry for the thumbs up, family. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay. I'm very interested in getting the information out there really. But yeah, if you thumbs up, if you like the stream, that would help. Okay, that would help. Yeah. So I have sent the link out. Let me see if I can invite. It's available. All right. Okay. So today's topic is about the eco. Okay, the eco currency, the common currency for West Africa. The Economic Community of West African States, dubbed ECOWAS or ECOWAS, whichever way you want to pronounce it, was formed in 1975, primarily by Nigeria and Togo. Sorry, allergies, itchy nose. Anyway, so what it is Nigeria being the biggest economy of Africa, Nigeria being the eighth world's producer of oil, crude oil. Thanks for joining the stream, Charity. Thank you for joining the stream. Sweet. Okay. Nigeria, Brima Bajo, thanks for joining the stream. Thumbs up, please. Like the stream and share, family. Share, help us grow. 514 subscribers, which is very, very exciting. Okay, we're growing, right? And Google Hangout is phasing out by October. So I'm not really sure what's gonna happen, but until then, I'll keep doing my live streams at least once or twice a week, depending on my availability. But I strive. I make time to come and do this. So yeah, just so we keep the family up to date with what's happening. Everything is happening on the continent day in day out. New developments by the hour. Okay, so I am talking about the ECOWAS, okay, the Economic Community of West African States, okay. It's an integration body which comprises of all the West African countries coming together to thrive, to grow together, form not to form a union. Basically, it is a union. And because Africa is so fragmented, divided into sets, very, very tiny sections, countries divided by borders. And you have a country like Ghana, okay, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin, even Nigeria. I believe all these countries that I've mentioned should have been one country. Okay, but the British and the French divided it all up, and the Germans divided it all up into fragments. And you have a section of people from Ghana, which is the Akan people, living in La Côte d'Ivoire, and they speak French. And people in Ghana speak English, and now they speak French. Because I was born in Ghana, I learned a bit of French from elementary onwards, you know, until I moved to Australia, and I've nearly lost all my French. Je suis oublié, I've forgotten, you know. So because I don't interact much with people here in Australia, do not interact at all with people here in Australia in French, except for I meet travelers from like Lebanon and stuff who come here, and then people try to speak French with me because they think that I'm Mauritian as well. So which is very interesting. But what it is the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 had really destroyed Africa, or put barriers, amongst Africans, and where we should have been united and be together and do things together. But these boundaries, and colonialism prevented us from doing so. So you have the Akan people being divided, part of them speaking French, part of them speaking English. You have the Ewe people, part of them divided, being in Ghana speaking English, but part in Togo speaking French. You have the Yorubas divided, in Benin and in Nigeria. Okay, and even the Ewe people, you find Ewe people in Benin as well. And similarly, you go across the border from Nigeria, you go to Cameroon, and you have the Anglophone Cameroon and the French-speaking Cameroon, and it's a mess. Okay, all over Africa, it's a mess. All right, Niger boy, use it or lose it. Yeah, that's right. Google Chrome, isn't it? Yeah. So this in 2019 is a big mess for Africa, and well, the whole world, revolves around economics. Okay, economics is everything. Everyone is all about money. Okay, if you think these globalist elites are about the welfare of everybody, do you think Bill Gates will be sitting on like $100+ billion? Warren Buffett sitting on trillions of dollars? Do you think all these people will be sitting on big amounts of money? Okay, whilst some child somewhere in Africa is starving, in the Sudan is starving, some child somewhere in Ghana has kwashiorkor, some child somewhere in Yemen is struggling. You have Iraq, they're running out of drinking water, and you have billionaires sitting on wealth, immense wealth. Okay, you have Turkey blocking the dams, which the dams of the rivers of Euphrates and Tigris. Okay, blocking it. It's all about economics. Okay, you have the United States invading Iraq and want to even invade Iran. Okay, destabilizing Syria, destabilizing Libya. It's all about economics. The whole world revolves around economics, and economics is what's going to drive all. It's what drives the wars. Okay, it's what drives all the greed. Okay, so if you think these people have your best interests at heart, you're fooling yourself. You are fooling yourself. So, the global awakening of the African in 2019 is so epic, okay, to the point where the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, has been traveling around, the Americas, promoting Pan-Africanism, promoting the return of people of African descent into the continent, going back to build, having all sorts of agreements and making travel easy for all diasporans to come back to the continent. And because there is major strides happening on the continent, right? And so with the ECOWAS being formed in 1975 between Nigeria and Togo, Nigeria being the heavyweight of Africa economically, okay, almost $2 trillion in GDP. I think they were at 1.6 or 1.7 trillion dollars GDP. Nigeria has an economy bigger than Australia. I think Australia is 1.2 trillion. and Nigeria is 1.6, 1.7. So, I mean, Nigeria is such a powerhouse. Okay, and it's not because Nigeria is special. It's because they manage the resources better than any other part of Africa. Ghana could, as tiny as Ghana is, could be one single country that has like the biggest GDP, the biggest, you know, economy of nearly the entire continent. Okay, because Ghana currently is the world's leading producer of gold. Gold, and all the currencies, your Bitcoin, your cryptocurrencies, everything is moving towards gold. You know, being backed by gold. You know, the only resource that the Americans or the American dollar is backed by is crude oil. And as we move into the future, as we stop using fossil fuel, okay, we're gonna be driving solar cars. We're not gonna be driving you know, fossil fuel cars. You know, there are other forms, alternative energy sources that we could use, okay, other than petrol. So what's going to happen with the petrodollar? It's going to crumble, right? But if you have your currency backed by gold, it's always going to be there, because for thousands and thousands of years, gold has always been a symbol of wealth, a symbol of currency. So yeah, it's all tied in. It's all tied in. But you know, Nigeria's economy is majorly, you know, built around the oil. The oil is huge, and you know, they even though there's a lot of corruption in Nigeria, but I would say that Nigeria manages a lot of its resources better than other parts of Africa. That's why they are such economic giants. And if they could curb corruption, okay, Nigeria would do exceptionally, you know, abundantly well. You know, would be a first world country. You know, so what's happening is the corruption in Nigeria is causing a lot of what's it called, illegal trades, um what's the word for it, when good smuggling. Okay, it's called, they smuggle a little petrol out of the country and sell it to the neighboring country. And you have, when you cross the border from Nigeria to to Benin, okay, they speak French, and Benin has a free port, and they have a different set of economic activities going on there, and laws and rules. Okay, that is completely different to Nigeria. So people can smuggle goods from Nigeria to Benin and face no consequences at all, because they are in different jurisdiction, right? So this is the reason we need a United States of Africa, definitely. So this is what the Berlin Conference has done to Africa. When you look at Ghana, Ghana is so rich, but then surrounded by French-speaking countries, and their laws are completely different. Their laws and regulations are completely different to Ghana's. You know, so before, Ghana solely was the biggest producer of cocoa to the world. But because of smuggling of the cocoa to Cote d'Ivoire, because the farmers think they can get better value for the cocoa, they desert the Ghanaian market, go into Cote d'Ivoire and sell their cocoa beans to the French companies. And the French fuel the corruption as well, because they're ready to buy these things. They don't tell the Ghanaian smugglers to go back to the country. They don't say that. They welcome them in there and they buy it off them. Okay, so this is what's happening in West Africa, especially. And West Africa, as a region on its own, is a very wealthy country, or region of portion of Africa. So the Berlin Conference was very strategic. Okay, the implementation of it was very strategic to keep Africa economically deprived. Okay, because they know that whilst we're struggling with our economy, struggling with the borders, we kind of rise up and compete globally. So they can turn around and come and dictate to us how much we need to sell our resources for, resources that they need. Okay, resources that they need. See, Ghana is currently producing about 200,000 barrels of crude oil a day. A day. That should be a world-class country. you see. But because of the economic woes and then the division amongst us, okay, it's not causing us to rise. Okay, so without much ado, I'm going to read the articles and discuss this further. But the reason for the ECOWAS being formed was to break the barriers, okay, to stop smuggling, okay, to integrate West African states, because Nigeria realized that they're losing a lot of money to smuggling, and when the goods cross the borders into French-speaking countries like Benin and Togo and Niger up north and Mali up north, okay, they lose control of it. Okay, they have no other control of it, and they lose a huge portion of their GDP to smuggling. Okay, so they came up with this ECOWAS thing, and then since 1975, a whole lot of people joined. Even Morocco, Morocco tried to join. Mauritania joined. Okay, Mauritania joined and left, I think, in 2001. Okay, to join the Arab League of the Maghreb. Okay, but then they're back. Okay, they came back. They came back, I think, the same year. They came back the same year, and you have Libya. And Muammar Gaddafi was an observer in the ECOWAS, okay, and also Tunisia is also an observer. So I draw my map, okay. There's no true north, there's no true west, okay. Anything north Africa is north of the equator, okay. So you have from like Ghana to the tip of Strait of Gibraltar, okay, that's Morocco, okay. That is North Africa to me. If you want to go west, okay, west of Africa, okay, I draw the line in the middle. Okay, so anything from Cape Verde to say Chad or Nigeria or say to the central part of Africa, say halfway through Congo is West Africa. Okay, this is where I draw my line, and opposite to that is East Africa. This is where I draw my line. Okay, South Africa is anything below the equator. That's south of Africa. Okay, southern Africa. So you can't really take a small portion of West Africa and say this is West Africa. No. Okay, Algeria. We have Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Mali. All these countries all the way down south is West Africa. Okay. It's West Africa, geographically speaking. Geographically speaking, that is West Africa. So, I mean, it was right that Morocco was part of it, but it's just political. Okay, Morocco was even part of the African Union prior to 1983, and it pulled out because the African Union pressured Morocco to give up Western Sahara. But then, in recent times, Morocco came back to join the African Union, seeing that Africa is rising. Okay, Africa is rising. Okay, they see themselves as more Arabs and stuff like that. They join the Arab League, but it's not really working for them. It's really not working for them. They belong to where family is. That's where family is. So Morocco, has applied to join the African Union. They were approved as of I think 2017, and also Morocco being the fourth biggest GDP in Africa, okay, economically is great for Africa, okay, and it would be great for West Africa that Morocco is accepted in the ECOWAS. So Morocco applied to join the ECOWAS in 2017, and they've been approved to join. So West Africa basically is Morocco all the way down the coast, the Atlantic coast to the Gulf of Guinea. Okay, that's your West Africa. So without much ado, okay, the ECOWAS had a summit. They try to implement the one single currency for West Africa, and I think they tried 2001, 2003, several times they tried to implement it, but this year they've all agreed to do it because moving forward, okay, it's only unity, okay, through unity that we can thrive as African people. So we see the development of the African Union as well, the ratification of all the countries, and I have good news that Nigeria has finally agreed to sign, the African free trade, deal. And yeah, so it's really amazing. It's really, I feel very, very excited that these things are happening on the continent. Okay, these things are happening on the continent. So I think I have enough people here now. So without much ado, I am going to jump into the articles. They're quite self-explanatory, but I will interject if I have any thoughts. But yeah, please contribute as well. Okay, contribute, and let us make this a great moment. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Hmm. So yeah, I've got 6 people watching, so that's really fantastic. Without much ado, I'm gonna share the screen and read to you a couple of articles. Present to everyone. Okay, so do you have a secondary screen here, and let us know if you can see this. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're up now. So this article from the 1st of July 2019. Okay, CNN. Okay, CNN. West African countries choose new ECO single trade currency, or ECO. Okay, so I'll read this article and I'll read those that have been pushing forward the ECO and stuff like that, especially the president of Ghana. And I told you how the president of Ghana is very, 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 very inspired about the integration of everyone of African descent. All right, Charity, thanks, thanks. Everyone of African descent, throughout the Caribbean, through the UK, through the North America, South America, and stuff like that. So, it's big, the promotion of, Pan-Africanism, through the African Union, and the African Union ambassador. I practiced that name really well. I've practiced it a lot of times. Arikana Chihambori Kubo. Okay, that's a name. Okay, the African Union ambassador to like so many countries, basically to the Americas. Okay, she's doing a great job in bringing education to the West about Africa and how the position of Africa at the moment in 2019 and the Agenda 2063. Okay, which states that by the year 2063, okay, there should be a United States of Africa. Period. Okay, and by the way things are developing, I think we're going to see a United States of Africa before the year 2063, probably by the year 2050. Okay, by the year 2050, because by the year 2040, the 2040, 2030, the population of Africa is meant to be about 2 billion people on the continent. On the continent, and when you look at the economic woes of these countries, especially Europe, United States, which is backing its money on oil, which basically in the next future we're going to be moving away from fossil fuels to like more renewable energy, i.e., solar electric cars, solar panel homes. I mean, stuff like that. So the future is really bright for Africa. Okay, the future is really, really bright for Africa. Africa is where the development is where all the companies want to move into to keep their businesses afloat, because Africa is emerging. Okay, and it's still yet to go through industrialization. So this is where the future is. Okay, the future is of the world's economy is in Africa. Is in Africa. So without much ado, I'm going to read this article. Okay. West African countries choose new eco single trade currency. Article by Aisha Salodin, CNN, updated 1st of July 2019. Okay. As part of Lagos, Nigeria, CNN, as part of its plans to make Africa a more integrated continent, leaders of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have adopted the name ECO for a planned single currency to be used in the region. The 15-member announced 15-member group announced at the end of an ECOWAS summit in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, on Saturday. 6 member countries, including Nigeria, Liberia, and Ghana, could be swapping the currencies for a new one. This is by the year 2020. So less than 6 months away, family. We're less than 6 months away, and the Ghanaians are going to stop using the city, and they're going to be using the eco, which is fantastic. 8 ECOWAS countries, Benin, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo currently jointly use the CFA franc. That is appalling, and we know what the CFA franc is doing to Africa. Okay, France prints their money for them. They save their money in the French Treasury or Reserve Bank, and the French accumulate interest on the money. Last month an article came about the late president of Nigeria, Sani Abacha. Niger boy, you here? The late president Sani Abacha had, embezzled or removed nearly $2 billion out of Nigeria and moved it offshore. And there was this article that I read about a banking group, I think the Jersey in the United States, which has found that Abacha was saving nearly $300 million in the bank in the United States, and they've tried to go through legislation to return the money back to Nigerians. But guess what? 3 out of that $300 million that belongs to Nigerians. Okay, the money is going to be shared in 3 ways. The Jersey banking group are going to take a part of it. The United States government is going to have a portion of that money, and then the third portion is going to come to Nigerians. Can you believe this? So these African presidents, they save all the monies. Gaddafi as well has his money frozen in the Swiss bank. You have a whole lot of African leaders saving money offshore, and when they die, the money gets frozen. And then for us to get the money back, okay, we only get a third of it, a third of the money. So why are they doing this, right? Why are they doing this? So it's all form of colonization. Okay, whispering in the ears, oh, come save your money here, come save your money. It's all parts of manipulation of the West. Okay, so it's a strategy. Okay, so these French-speaking countries save their money in French treasury, and the French company is, banks are making billions of dollars, trillions even. The ambassador of the African Union, the Cherikana, said that Arikana Chihombori said that, France is taking away trillions of dollars from Africa, trillions. Okay, so the implementation of the ECO is going to counter-react this. It's only because Africa or West Africa or these French-speaking countries have no other economic reforms. Okay, and the CFA or the SAFA provides them a better alternative. So the ECO is going to be a much better alternative to the CFA franc, okay, which is going to be backed by the natural resources on the continent, and they're going to have an eco bank, which would be really great for us. But yeah, for us to continue giving our money to the international bodies, especially France, in the name of keeping it for us, okay, we're losing a whole lot more. So it's about time we had our own stuff. Okay, it's about time we had our own banks, we had our own manufacturing, we had our own consumption. Okay, this is how we move forward. Okay, so coming back to the article, okay, 8 ECOWAS countries, Benin, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo currently jointly use the CFA franc. Originally intended to be launched in 2000, the ECO has been postponed multiple times, and the newest target date is 2020. According to an internal document seen by CNN, ECOWAS will be working with the West African Monetary Agency, WMA, sorry, the West African Monetary Institute, WAMI, and central banks to speed up the implementation of a new roadmap for the proposed single trade currency. The ECO is supposed to boost economic development in the West African region and improve cross-border trade. So basically, if you have the same currency and you cross the border, you smuggle gold from Ghana into Togo, or gold or cocoa from Ghana into Burkina Faso, you're going to be paid the same amount for it. So basically, it will eliminate smuggling. Okay, it will completely eliminate smuggling and eliminate the revenue lost to smuggling, because if you smuggle your goods from, especially cocoa, from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, the money goes to France. The money goes to France. So why are you doing this? You know, and these people, they don't see it that way, because obviously they smuggle it across the border to Cote d'Ivoire. They get paid a little bit more, maybe a few cents extra. Okay, but if you remove the incentives of doing that and implementing an integration, a regional economic integration, okay, where you cross the border, there would be no borders to speak of anyways. You know, so all that you know, that economic woes have been eliminated through this implementation of the ECO. So Panther aside, it's been time to get rid of the CFA franc. Yeah, exactly, it's coming. All right, so once the ECO comes out, okay, you know, people will no longer want to trade with the ECO. You know, this would be a great opportunity for West African countries to remove the ECO, because they're seeing it. They know what's happening, but they just don't have any other alternative to counter-react the CFA franc. But now the ECO is a challenging and opposing force. So when all of them sign on to it, gradually they're going to let go of the CFA. They're going to stop saving their money in the French treasury. And West Africans, I hope they print their own money. I hope they print their own ECO and not give the contract to European countries to print it and devalue it. But let's say if the currency is backed by the natural resources in Africa, collective natural resources in West Africa, the ECO is really going to do well, because even as we speak, Nigeria is talking about, you know, gold mining on a bigger scale. Already, Nigeria, I watch a talking point, and this Nigerian lady is a chairman of this gold mine. It's a small gold mining company that's in charge of, like, you know, small gold mining in Nigeria. It's not on a national large scale like Ghana, but they produce about 2 tons of gold every month. 2 tons of gold every month. That's huge, and that's only on a small scale mining. You know, so if Nigeria heavily invest in gold mining, you know, throughout West Africa, we're blessed with so many natural resources, so many natural resources. Okay, so if we back our currency on our natural resources, we're gonna do really well, right? So, back to the article here. So, ECO is supposed to boost economic development in the West African region and improve cross-border trade. If implemented, countries across the region will be able to move and spend money across different countries without worrying about exchange rate costs, says economic analyst Tokumbo Afikuyomi. The single currency, if properly implemented, will improve trade by allowing specific countries to specialize at what they are good at and exchange it for other goods and other countries in the bloc produce more efficiently, he told CNN. So the problem with Morocco joining the ECOWAS is that Morocco has a non-natural resource non-natural resource economy. Basically, it's trade and services, but Morocco is like the largest producer of phosphate, you know, which is used in bombs and fertilizer. Okay, and also it's being a proximity to Europe and controlling the Strait of Gibraltar. You know, it's mainly a service, you know, economy, but being the fourth largest economy in Africa, I mean, it's good to have them on board. Okay, and they're worried about Morocco flooding its, manufacture. It has no resources, but it's a huge manufacturer. Okay, so they're afraid that Morocco is going to flood in finished goods into sub-Saharan markets. But growing up as a child, I saw a lot of Moroccan stuff in Ghana and as well. I saw, before this ECOWAS talk, Moroccan items already throughout Africa. The favorite, canned fish we used to eat, I think I forgot the name there. Sardines, something sardine. It comes from Morocco. It comes from Morocco. It's everywhere. That's everyone's favorite sardine. Comes from Morocco. I forgot the name now, but it has a red tin. And my family being part Moroccan as well. I mean, the integration of West Africans are so mingled up. Okay, so it's about time we embrace unity. Okay, it's about time we embrace unity and look at the brighter side. And even Israel now is talking about the Prime Minister of Israel was saying that it is time for Israel to come back to Africa. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like it's time for Israel to come back to Africa and Africa to come back to Israel. But dude, Israel is on the African plate. Israel is Africa. Okay, ancient Israel were Africans. Okay, in fact, the position of Israel is only an extension of the Egyptian Empire, North Africa. The original people of Israel were black Africans. So that's really significant. Okay, of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, making such statement that it's time for Israel to come back to Africa. So they see these people are saying the economic development of Africa, and they all want in. Okay, and they're using the ticket of family. Okay, and family will always welcome family back. Okay, no matter how distant they place themselves, but they are family, and we welcome them back. So if we can get Israel's nukes to defend our sovereignty as African, as a African Union, hey, welcome family. That's what I'll say to them. Morocco has a very good defense system as well. I think one of the best in Africa. Okay, we welcome that. So if Morocco is going to contribute to the success of Africa with their military might, yeah, we want them on board. Okay, we want them on board. The problem with charity, Titus, Niger boy, that's it. Titus, that's it. Yeah, thanks for that, brother. The problem with Africa is the mindset of the president and the people. I was in Zambia a month ago, and I was shocked at how unfriendly people are and how the customer service is bad. We really need to see more change. So that is going to come through exposure. Okay, Charity. The Zambian. I saw your video. I thought your tour guide was very friendly, and he was very engaging. But yeah, so I know Zambians to be quite friendly as well. I've met some Zambians and stuff like that. But yeah, there was this Zambian girl that was at my uni that she kept me in the friend zone for a long time. Okay, and she was quite friendly. I helped her with her assignments and stuff, but she only kept me in the friend zone. But yeah. But anyway, she ended up marrying a a Pakistani guy, I think. But yeah, good for her. But I know Zambians to be very friendly and lovely people. But a lot of these people, customer service. If you come to meet a very upsetting customer service representative, they're obviously not happy with their job. Okay, they're not being paid well and stuff like that. So all these things we changed through education and the elimination of poverty in our society, because people wake up generally moody if if they have to go to the boring low paying jobs. Okay, they're going to be very angry to start with. So everything's going to change as Africa rises. All right, let's see. LOL friend zone. Yeah. Yeah. Right names, thanks for joining the stream, family. Do you They do that in Australia. Oh yeah, friend zone family. They friend zone you so bad. The African girls in Australia will friend zone you till the day you die. I'm telling you, family. I'm telling you. So yeah, if you see me with a white girl, please don't hate me, okay? Don't hate me because this is what it is. The African girls here, they will friend zone you till the day you die. Okay, I've been friend zoned by a very pretty Kenyan girl. Okay, a very pretty Kenyan girl that I was secretly in love with. I was friend zoned. Okay. I was friend zoned by girls in the church. Okay. I was friend zoned by, these are African girls. Okay. I was friend zoned by this Zambian girl. I was friend zoned by an Egyptian girl. I was friend zoned by a Sudanese girl. My best mate, Nigerian, um, he was friend zoned by his own country mate, a country girl from Nigeria. He was friend zoned for a long time. Then now he's married to a Mauritian girl. So I mean, the African girls will friends zone you for till the day you die, really. So yeah. Okay. Without much ado, I'll go back to this article. Okay. Uh, so the single currency, if properly implemented, I think I've already read that bit, but okay, I'll take it again. The single currency, if properly implemented, will improve the trade by allowing specific countries to specialize at what they are good at and exchange it for other goods that other countries in the bloc produce more efficiently. So again, that's why I said that, even though Morocco has no natural resources apart from phosphate, which is only used in fertilizer and explosives, okay, Morocco has a huge manufacturing economy. Okay, so we can produce our cocoa. Ghana can farm the cocoa, okay, send it to Morocco to process it, okay, and we're all sharing the same benefits. We are sharing the same benefits. Okay, so and again, I mentioned that we could use Morocco's military might as well to defend the sovereignty of Africa, okay, or to train the improve the military process of African countries and peacekeeping and stuff like that. So it's really gonna benefit us. So basically, as the article said, okay, let every country just do what they're good at, and we all unite. Okay, we all unite. So yeah, Niger boy, especially when they call you brother. Yeah, that's an early signs of friend zone. Okay, be warned. Okay, who is your brother? God forbid, I'm not your brother. I'm not your brother, oh, and not your friend. Predator. Hashtag predator. Okay. So I would say hashtag friend zone, but yeah, I mean family zone. Hashtag family zone. But yeah, I mean this is what it is, right? But yeah, this is what it is. So according to a few no, no. The single currency will also help address the region's monetary problems like the difficulty in converting. So yeah, some of its currencies and the lack of independence of central banks. So I mean, this is huge, okay. But despite these possible benefits, analysts remain worried about the lack of integration policies and among member countries in the region. So this is what they're gonna tackle in. I mean, the lack of integration policies. They're already the ECOWAS passport. So that's I don't see why that should be the lack of integration policies of member countries. They already have the freedom of movement amongst West Africa. So you can travel from Nigeria to Senegal with only one passport. And now we have Mauritania on board, so you can make it all the way to Mauritania. And this is why one reason why there was that rejection of Morocco in the ECOWAS because of Western Sahara, which is basically nobody really lives in Western Sahara. It's like there's only like one city in Western Sahara. And basically, because of the desert, nearly everyone in Western Sahara have moved into Morocco to start with. So Western Sahara is just like a desert. But Mauritania shares borders with Western Sahara, and Western Sahara shares borders with Morocco. And Morocco used to control or rule over Western Sahara, but they're separated. So if you have Mauritania, the only access to Morocco is via Western Sahara, you know, to Mauritania, to West Africa. So is that a move for Morocco to propose, to annex Western Sahara back to join Morocco? I think it's a strategic move. So I'm yet to see that. This is only my thoughts, but it's only a strategic move. So if you add Morocco to West Africa, okay, basically Morocco is going to take charge of Western Sahara. Okay, if that makes sense. So a little geographic lessons there. So yeah, have a look into the Morocco and Western Sahara situation. And I know both Morocco used to be in charge of Western Sahara, and Western Sahara used to be part of Morocco. So I think it was in 1983 that they separated. But basically nobody lives in Western Sahara. Nobody lives in Western Sahara. Everyone in Western Sahara either lives in Mauritania or lives in Morocco, but because it's a contested portion, they've basically left it as is because they've been fighting wars over it. So, but nobody lives there, right? You can't live there. It's a desert, right? It's a desert. So, according to Fikuyomi, a single currency will only work if all the countries involved are economically aligned, which is not the current case. Yeah, well, it's not the current case because of these 8 West African countries, by their names, okay, Benin, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo use the CFA franc. Okay, and Ghana has its own currency, independent currency. Nigeria has its own independent currency. Liberia, I think, does, and Sierra Leone does as well. So, they have to be on board for this to happen. They have to agree to it, and they have agreed. Okay, they have agreed to it. Okay, so the Guinean economy, for example, has a GDP of around $7 billion a year per annum. That's less than Nigeria's 13th largest state, Abia, with wealth 8.7 billion. This difference in economies already makes a sensible uniform policy like the trade currency very difficult, he said. The African Development Bank Group, AFDB, in a report says the 2020 deadline for the single currency will most likely be postponed again unless the region can align with its monetary and fiscal policies. I hope it will not be postponed. Okay, I hope they push forward for it. Okay, but at the moment, okay, they've agreed to it. Okay, they've agreed to it, right? So I will read a little bit about the eco currency. Okay, so the eco is the proposed name for the common currency that the West African Monetary Zone, WAMZ, plans to introduce in the framework of Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. After its introduction, the goal is to merge the new currency with the West African CFA franc, used by the French-speaking members of ECOWAS since 1945, at a later date. This will create a common currency for much of West Africa. So basically, when they start the ECO, it's mainly going to be the English-speaking countries, which would be like Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. Okay, so basically the ones in red, right? So Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ghana, Nigeria. Okay, they're gonna use the eco and then gradually merge it with the CFA franc. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so it tells about the criteria and stuff like that, the history of the currency, the goal of a common currency first in West African Monetary Institute, WAMI, West African Monetary Zone countries of Ghana, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Conakry, which is French speaking but does not use the CFA franc, Liberia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. And later in the whole ECOWAS area was officially stated in December 2000 in connection with the formal launch of WAMZ. The ECOWAS first planned to be introduced in 2003, but this was postponed several times to 2005, 2010, and 2014 at a meeting in Convergence Ministers and Governors of West Africa on 25th May 2009. The start of the currency was rescheduled to 2015 due to the international economic crisis. The December 2009 meeting also established a plan to begin work to merge the ECO with the CFA franc immediately upon the launch of the ECO. This was planned to be achieved by 2020. Okay, so the rest of it, you can read it. I'll leave the description in the, I'll leave the information in the description box. You can check it out. So I'll skip to here. In June 2019, the major financiers of the 15 ECOWAS countries stressed the importance of strengthening the microeconomic convergence of the 15 countries. Respecting the timetable for the implementation of the single currency will depend on the efforts of each country in this area, said the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Brau. Performance in terms of microeconomic convergence is a sine qua non. Sine qua non, okay, for the single currency. Sine qua non or sine qua non? Let me know, family. Instead of Adama Kone, adding that it was necessary to strengthen the mechanism of multilateral surveillance. A single currency will bring a lot to our savings. This is an opportunity for integration that must be seized by African countries because the markets are fragmented. Okay, fragmented. Sorry. On June 29, 2019, the leaders of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, formally adopted the name ECO for their project of the single currency, which they wish to create from 2020. So that took place in, I think, in Abuja. So yeah, that was fantastic. Okay. So down you see the references. All right. So here is one kicker here. The article. Let's see who's here. Niger boy. Thanks, Sherry. Peace. Peace, Richard, Victor Dixon. Thank you, family. Brother Richard, thanks for joining the stream. BAIO hashtag, yeah. BAIO is making major strides. Okay, Holip is really pushing it. Collagenesis. Okay, I really love those brothers. Okay, I can't wait for the Ugandan, Rwandan trip in November. So yeah, it's nearly here, family. It's nearly here. So Brother Richard, gonna catch the replay, no problem. I got to study, but definitely looking forward to your commentary and going through the resources in the links. Thanks, family. Thank you. All the best with your studies. Yeah. So the Ghanaian president, okay, Nana Akufo-Addo, is one of the spear heads of this movement, or the ECOWAS movement, and the integration of the entire West African region. Basically the entire country, I mean, entire continent of Africa via the African Union and stuff like that, and also extending his influence to the Americas. Okay, to the Americas. So yeah, I'll read this article now. President Akufo-Addo has, so we must implement ECOWAS single currency by the year 2020, and this article is from GhanaWeb.com. Business News of Thursday, 22nd February 2018. Okay, so as of 2018, he was pushing this. Okay, so President Akufo-Addo has reaffirmed that the implementation of a common currency for ECOWAS member states cannot be rescheduled beyond the year 2020 deadline date. According to him, it is imperative for countries in the West Africa sub-region to work at achieving the convergence criteria required for the implementation of the ECO single currency in 2 years. And so back to the Wikipedia, this is the criteria. There's 10 criteria: a single-digit inflation rate at the end of each year, a fiscal deficit of no more than 4% GDP, a central bank deficit financing of no more than 10% the previous year's tax revenues, grows external reserves that can give import cover for minimum of 3 months. The 6 secondary criteria to be achieved by each member country are prohibition of new domestic default payments and liquidation of existing ones. Tax revenue should be equal to or greater than 20% of the GDP. Wage bill to tax revenue equal to or less than 35%. Public investment to tax revenue equal to or greater than 20%. A stable real exchange rate. A positive real estate rate. Okay, so these are the 10 criteria that every member of the ECOWAS needs to have to be able to adopt the ECO, and that is very, very easily achievable. Right. So back to the article. Okay. So again, I'll take that. According to Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana, it is imperative for countries in West African sub-region to work at achieving the convergence criteria required for the implementation of the ECO single currency in 2 years. Speaking at the 5th meeting of the Presidential Task Force on the ECOWAS single currency program in Accra, President Akufo-Addo maintained that the implementation for the single currency is strongly tied to the economic well-being of the sub-region. Okay. He observed that leaders of West African countries are keen on seeing the implementation of the common currency. So this is a great sign, family. This is a great sign. They're keen on it. Okay. We remain determined to have a single currency which will help remove trade and monetary barriers, reduce transaction costs. Okay, so pay attention to this. Okay, this is the Ghanaian president saying this. We remain determined to have a single currency which will help remove trade and monetary barriers, reduce transaction costs, boost economic activity, and raise the living standard of our people. Okay, let that sink in, family. Let it sink in. Okay, it is a goal we must achieve, he said. So yeah. Touching on the need to meet specific targets before the implementation, Nana Akufo-Addo stated that it is important to remove hurdles that will impede the smooth introduction of the currency. I think the hurdles have been basically removed because they do now have the ECOWAS passport. The people are moving about West Africa anyway, so goods and services are being moved about. Okay, so just go ahead and implement it. Okay, no delay tactics. Okay, that is to say, stalling tactics. Okay, no more stalling tactics. Just go ahead and implement it. All right, and you find out that they will sign it. So basically, just roll it out. The African Free Trade Area has been ratified, and Nigeria has promised to sign in the next coming summit in Niger. So I mean, it's big. It's big. It's big. So just roll it out and let people sign it and ratify it, right? So in this regard, I urge ECOWAS member states to renew their commitment in the ratification and implementation of the relevant ECOWAS protocols, such as the Protocol of the Free Movement of Persons, Goods and Services, so which is already in place, okay? Which is already in place. So he urges them to renew their commitment to it. In the ratification of the implemented. So they've already implemented it anyway. They've already implemented it, and people already have the ECOWAS passport. So, yeah. The ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme and the common external tariff, he suggested. So this is something I'm not too familiar with, the common external tariff and ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme. I need to read up a bit on that, but yeah. In addition, Nana Akufo-Addo stated that with the growing population of the sub-region, it will be prudent to implement the common currency to enhance trading among West ECOWAS member states in attendance. So it's been estimated that West Africa alone will be half a billion people, 500 million people by the year 2040. So that's a huge potential. That's a huge market, huge market. So yeah, we really welcome regional integration. So yeah, in attendance was the president of Cote d'Ivoire, Alassane Ouattara, president of Niger, Issoufou Mahamadou. I think he's going to resign in the next election. president of Togo, Faure Gnassingbé. I think that's the son of Gnassingbé Eyadema. I think so. I'm not too sure, but president of Niger and governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, among others. Okay, so there's I think a YouTube video on that, Ghana Web, YouTube. Check it out. Okay, check it out. You can check it out. Yeah, so that's the end of that article. You see, this is a major one from the president of Ghana. Before he commenced his trip to the Americas to promote Pan-Africanism and the Year of Return. So he's taking major strides, yeah, to bring development. So here's a major news as well. From africanews.com, Nigeria agrees to join the Africa Free Trade Zone. Okay, so quickly read that. 14 hours ago, the continent's biggest economy, Nigeria, announced on Wednesday that it would sign the Africa Free Trade Agreement at the coming African Union Summit. Nigeria was one of the last countries that had committed to signing the deal, and its decision to join the bloc will significantly bolster its clout. So Nigeria, being the biggest economy in Africa, basically is suffering from corruption, and basically the smuggling of goods out of Nigeria into like French-speaking countries surrounding Nigeria. A move placed by European countries to subjugate Africans or suffocate Africans economically. So Nigeria is losing a lot of money across the borders, through smuggling. So the ECOWAS and the Africa Free Trade is going to eliminate all these things. So the ECO is going to bring a common currency within West Africa. So even if you smuggle a good out of Nigeria into Benin, it's going to cost the same thing. So there will be no reason to do that, really. So yeah. So the continent's biggest economy, Nigeria, announced on Wednesday that it would sign the Africa Free Trade Agreement at the coming African Union Summit. Nigeria was one of the last countries that had not committed to signing the deal, and its decision to join the bloc will significantly bolster its clout. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFC. Man, these ads are annoying. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement aims to eliminate tariffs between member states, creating a market of 1.2 billion people with a combined GDP of more than $2.2 trillion. So at current, 1.2 billion people is the population of Africa, the entire continent of Africa. But fast forward the year 2030, Africa's population is meant to be 2 billion people. So you can see the GDP of Africa would double by the year 2030. So I mean, Africa is where it's at, family. Charity, you're going to bed. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for your contribution. 2:30 a.m. that's really late, family. I hope you do not have work in the morning, but yeah, thanks for your support. Hope you have a good sleep, family. Catch up on the replay. Thank you. Apart from Nigeria, only Eritrea. Let's see, there's a keynote here. Our position is very simple. We support free trade as long as it is fair and conducted on equitable basis. Okay, so this is Nigeria speaking. Okay, apart from Nigeria, only Eritrea and Benin have chosen not to join the zone. President Muhammadu Buhari had expressed concern it could allow neighboring countries to inundate Nigeria with low-priced goods and confound efforts to encourage moribund local manufacturing and expand farming. So these are the worries of Nigeria. Okay, but a panel set up to assess the impact of joining the bloc recommended last week the president should consider joining. So they've done an investigation. Okay, they've done an investigation and realized that it will benefit Nigeria if they join, basically. With the implementation of the eco currency, okay, it's going to improve, basically it's going to improve everyone's life. Okay, we're all going to win. So it would do more harm to Nigeria if they do not join, because at this point, okay, goods are being smuggled out of Nigeria like crazy. Okay, and now Nigeria is mining gold on a small scale of 2 tons a month. Okay, and imagine all this gold is being smuggled out of Nigeria. Nigeria is not going to make any money from that gold. But if they join the bloc, okay, then there's no greater incentive of them smuggling these goods out, right? So yeah, our position is very simple. We support free trade as long as it's fair and conducted on equitable basis. The Twitter feed quoted Buhari as saying. So Muhammadu Buhari, okay, yeah, maybe he could buy a private jet soon. It added Nigeria would sign onto the deal at an upcoming African Union summit in Niamey, Niger. The agreement with other signatories came into force on May 30. So yeah, that's the African Free Trade Area. So yeah. So it's big, family. It's big. By July 7th, okay, by July 7th, they're going to start trading. Okay. By July 7th, they're going to start trading. So this is where we are at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, in other news, okay, hashtag Abiy Ahmed. We all know what happened last month with the coup d'etat. Okay, attempted coup. Okay, it's not a. It was meant to be a nationwide, coup, starting with the regional leaders, and because Ethiopia is a federal country, they have regional presidents. They call them presidents. And the coup was meant to start with eliminating all the regional presidents, and then making its way to the country's prime minister, which is Abiy Ahmed. But it was dismantled. I mean, the perpetrators have been arrested or killed. Okay, and rightfully so. And Abiy Ahmed, the champion of reform in East Africa, okay, basically believes a man himself coming from the military as a major, okay, in the military, in the army, uh, has embraced reform. He believes in reconciliation, forgiveness, and reconciliation as a means of moving forward into the future. Okay, healing and reconciliation. But then his approach is always dangerous. It's the best way. Okay, it's not through dictatorship, suppressing people and making people angry. But if majority of people want to see other people do good, okay, embrace other people, and it's just human nature that you have some criminal elements, but majority of people are loving people. Okay, they are very understanding people. So Abiy Ahmed's reform is to promote regional integration, economic integration and development, bring ethnic ties. Okay, um, remove what's it called, ethnic tension. Okay, and stuff like that. Onana Nation, thanks for joining the stream. Hello, dear wife. Yeah, so yeah, Abiy Ahmed's reform is very, very risky, but it's what's necessary. Okay, we all need to embrace one another. We all need to heal, and this is the only way forward. We cannot keep promoting the vitriol happening. Okay, Eurobest can't keep hating on e-boys. We can't keep having that. Okay, we can't keep having that. We need to bridge the gap. We need to unite as African people. Okay, so Abiy Ahmed, this is him. Okay, this is all his reform is all about. Okay, he himself, Abiy Ahmed himself, coming from a Muslim father and a Christian mother. Okay, this is Abiy Ahmed. Okay, joining hands with the Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. Okay, and the Somali president, to join those people together, promote peace in the Horn of Africa, and also extending his influence to the Sudan. Okay, and making sure there's peace in Sudan at the moment. So he's doing a really good job, but it all comes at a cost where some people do not want to see progress. Some people just love chaos. They function in chaos, but we cannot have that. Okay, majority of people are peace-loving people, and they want to see progress. Okay, so this article coming from AfricanNews.com. Abiy Ahmed talks tough in coup aftermath, vows to protect Ethiopia's sovereignty. So Abiy Ahmed himself being a military person, after during the coup, okay, or after the coup, he came on national television to address the people of Ethiopia in his military gear. So yeah, he can talk tough if he needs to. Okay, he can talk tough if he needs to. Ethiopia's prime minister has issued a strong warning to anyone who would plot to topple his government following a coup attempt in the country's northwestern Amhara region. Addressing lawmakers on Monday, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said the attack in Amhara as an attempted coup. It was an act to steal power, said Abiy. The government is now taking measures to protect the constitutional order and arrest those behind the crime. Power in Ethiopia will... Okay, so this is the keynote, okay, family. Power in Ethiopia will only be by those elected. This should be underlined. Okay, so this is Abiy Ahmed speaking. Okay, so championing democracy in East Africa, in Africa. Okay, power in Ethiopia will only be by those elected. Okay, so yeah, I hate these ads. So here's a keynote. If there's anyone who threatens Ethiopia's sovereignty, we will fight them with Kalashnikov. I think that's Kalashnikov. I think that's in the AK-47. That's the name. Mikhail Kalashnikov is the person that invented the AK-47. So I think it's a type of gun, a type of AK-47. I think. So yeah, I've heard someone say the Somali people, the only thing they believe in is the AK-47. But yeah, that's your Kalashnikov. Okay. So if there's anyone who threatens Ethiopia's sovereignty, we will fight them with a Kalashnikov, not with a pen. Ethiopia's sovereignty is not up for discussion. We will give our lives for it. And we know, right? When was this? During the Italian Ethiopian war, more than 500 million, no, 500,000 people, 500,000 people, sacrifice their life to protect the sovereignty of Ethiopia. So this is what these people are capable of. Okay, they will die then being suppressed. Okay, so yeah, Abiy also said, this is what I stated before: if there's anyone who threatens Ethiopia's sovereignty, we will fight them with a Kalashnikov, not with a pen. Ethiopia's sovereignty is not up for discussion. We will give our lives for it, he said. On June 22nd, and this is not just talk, these people are warlike. They will fight to death. Okay, they've always been fighting. Okay, we know what they're capable of. So don't play jokes. Okay, the United States tried to invade Somalia. They failed. They couldn't. Okay, they destabilized. Yeah, it's a gun. Yes, that's right. AK-47. That's right. Yes. So yeah, United States tried to invade Somalia and they just couldn't do it. Okay, because these people will fight, they'll fight till death. Okay, and this is the fighting spirit of Africans. Okay, we always fought the Europeans. We always fought invaders. Okay, we always fought. So yeah, on June 22nd, attackers shot and killed the Amhara governor and 2 other officials. On the same night in Addis Ababa, the country's army chief and his close friend, a retired army general, were assassinated inside his residence by his bodyguard. So Ethiopia's opposition are accusing Abiy of using the incident to arrest opposition figures, mainly those in the Amhara region, and stifling dissenting voices. The internet has been shut down since the violence, although some offices and hotels can access the internet through satellite connections. This is only sentimental, okay, because Abiy Ahmed, when Abiy Ahmed came into office, he released a whole lot of political, prisoners and dissidents, okay, in their thousands, and part of the people, the person that committed the coup, okay, was one of the prisoners that was released by Abiy Ahmed. And in the Abiy Ahmed's reform, okay, he reinstated this man's position, okay, in the army, the coup perpetrator or orchestrator, okay. He gave him his military ranks back and gave him back his military pensions. But then he was so hell bent on greed and his own personal gratification that he wanted to do something so consequentially dire, you know, staging a coup d'etat. So they need to be executed. In my opinion, anyone who commits a coup needs to be executed. You need to be shot dead because you're no good to anybody. You're no good. All right, so we move on. So Ethiopia's opposition are accusing Abiy of using incident to arrest opposition figures, mainly those in the Amhara region, and stifling dissenting voices. The internet has been shut down since the violence, although some offices and hotels can access the internet through satellite connections. The government has said it has arrested 225 people suspected of involvement in the violence. I remember a few years back, there was a coup d'etat in Turkey against the president of Turkey, President Erdogan, and he arrested 5,000 people. Family, 5,000 people. A whole lot of them were executed. A whole lot of them were executed, but we didn't hear of. Okay, but this man arrested 5,000 people in relation to the coup plot. So I mean, 225 is a drop in the bucket. Okay, 225 people arrested in a major coup plot where people were killed. Okay, it's a drop in the bucket, right? So yeah. So the government has said it has arrested 225 people suspected of the involvement in the violence. Of the hundreds of people arrested following last week's incident, only 5 have so far been brought to court in Addis Ababa, and those 5 are charged with terror-related offenses, said Eskinder Nega, a journalist and government critic, who charged that Abiy's ruling party wants to politicize the anti-terror law. In Australia, we do have anti-terror law. Okay, it's crazy. Every now and then they raid people's houses. They look at your internet. Okay, the surveillance in Australia is crazy. Okay, your internet traffic is being surveyed. There's surveillance on your phone calls. Okay, your text messages. The security cameras here and there, everywhere. Okay, so if you're using, keywords, like, jihadi terms, words that will get you into trouble. Okay, they'll come knocking at your door. Okay, words that relate. I don't want to mention some of those words here. Okay, if you want to, if you mention words that relate to terrorism, they're gonna come knocking on your door and they're gonna analyze your text, your speech, and next thing you realize they're gonna be knocking on your door. And just last night they arrested a few people in Sydney for plotting a terrorism act. Okay, they were arrested here in Sydney. So yeah. While addressing lawmakers, Abiy confirmed more than 1,200 people were arrested in the past year on terror-related charges for inciting ethnic-based attacks, for economic sabotage, illegal arms trade, illegal monetary movement, and also for human smuggling. He added some 1.1 million Ethiopians were displaced in the past 1 year and 3 months alone, totaling the number of internally displaced peoples to 2.3 million people. But he remarked some 2.1 million of these have now returned to their localities. But Ethiopians are complaining Abiy's government. Ethiopia has the world's largest, displaced people on the planet. Like the refugee crisis of Ethiopia is the biggest in the world. But yeah, it's good to see that here that 2.1 million people have returned back to their homes in Ethiopia. So yeah. But Ethiopians are complaining Abiy's government has not stopped ethnic conflicts across the country that have claimed several hundred lives since it has come to power. So the ethnic tension is still there, okay, but the reform needs to be, pushed. We need to push for the reform, okay, because it's only through unity that we can make it. Okay, so Neymar, thank you for joining the stream, family. Thank you, sister. Um, Chief, my handsome guy. Neymar, my beautiful sister. Are you happy to be my wife number 3, Neymar? Uh, number one needs to be voted for. Okay, wife number 1 needs to be voted for. So far I have wife number 2. So we're looking for wife number 3. The number 1 is reserved. Okay, you need to contend for it. So moving on to final article. Okay, final article is a short one. Last week I came to you with an article of the Kenyan politician that called for well, basically gave a xenophobic speech directing the wars in Kenya, blaming the wars in Kenya on Tanzanian residents and Tanzanian residents and Chinese migrants or immigrants or whatever. Okay, the problems in Kenya. Okay, and this is not accepted. Okay, in the wake of the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, we do not want to see another South Africa. Okay, we do not want to see any xenophobic attacks across Africa. Okay, so these politicians being so loose, okay, is going to be dealt with. He was arrested, okay, and today, Tuesday, July the 2nd, the Prime Minister of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, released a statement. So this article is by the citizen.co.tz, so Tanzania, okay, Tanzanian news article or news outlet. In summary, President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent a special message to his Tanzanian counterpart, John Magufuli, detailing his government's Kenya's position over the recent xenophobic remarks by Kenyan politician Charles Njangwa, aka the Jaguar. He was arrested on Wednesday by the Kenyan authorities following incitement remarks against foreign investors. President Magufuli, Dar es Salaam, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent I think, hang on, I'm missing something. Yeah, I think it's continuing. Dar es Salaam, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has sent special message to Tanzanian counterpart John Magufuli, detailing his government's Kenyan position over recent xenophobic remarks by Kenyan politician. A statement from the Prime Minister's office said on Tuesday, the 2nd of July, 2019, the President Kenyatta had sent Kenya's envoy to Tanzania, Mr. Danny Kazungu, to deliver the special message to the President Magufuli. So this is beautiful. Okay, this is nice to say that he did not just write a note or do a televised address. He actually sent a delegation. Okay, so this is very, very special. This is very, very formal, and this is what we need to do. Okay, as Abiy Ahmed went in person to Sudan, okay, to promote and send delegations to Sudan to promote peace and the civilian transition of government. This is what bravery is all about. Okay, these are people that do the talk and walk the talk. Yeah. So the message was delivered to Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa on behalf of President Kenyatta at the former's Dar es Salaam office. The statement reads: the remarks are contained in a video allegedly for Kenya's Starehe Constitute lawmaker, Mr. Charles Ngwajwa Kanyi, who is popularly known as Jaguar. In the video that went viral on Tuesday last, the politician and singer is, I mean, who makes a singer a politician? This is just madness, right? Madness. An entertainer, you make your entertainer your politician. How is he going to be serious? Okay. How is he going to be serious? Although the former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was somewhat a fine politician, but across the board, I mean, his famous line was "I shall be back." It was just interesting when I listened to some of his speeches. It was like "I shall be back." That was very, very interesting. But yeah, you do not make entertainers your political leaders. Okay, this is a this is very absurd and very it's an insult to education. Okay, it's an insult to thousands of people that have been through the education system. Okay, millions who have studied very, very hard for those kind of positions. Like, I mean, people like this should just stay in their lane. Okay, do not, just because of publicity, do not make celebrities your leaders. Okay, someone like Donald Trump. That's why you have a Donald Trump in your office. When you have a celebrity in your office, this is what's going to happen, right? And when you, speaking of Donald Trump, okay, I'll finish this remark and talk about Donald Trump. Okay, he's an entertainer who got lucky that his parents had money. Okay, his businesses were failing, but through publicity, okay, gaining publicity, he entered politics. And he's a clown. He put the United States through a trade war with China. A trade war. I presented to you articles, several articles showing you that the United States is going to lose this trade war. It's going to lose. Okay, China has nothing to lose. A country of 1.5 billion people has nothing to lose. They can shut their borders and trade amongst themselves and still do better than the United States and everywhere else because they are a continent on their own. Okay, so news yesterday. Okay, the U.S. has lost the trade war. Okay, the ban on Huawei has been lifted. Okay, guess what? They're not going to tell you the U.S. government has now to compensate Huawei for defaming Huawei. They have to pay money to Huawei. So Huawei is winning. China is winning. The African Union has just signed deals for Huawei to be the provider of technology, of the African Union. So when you have people, celebrities in office, they just moving on sensationalism. They're not moving on logic. They're not being scientific or even being real. It's just entertaining, right? So Americans, you have to be very careful in the next election. Okay, do not vote for the Democrats. Okay, the Democrats do not want your best interest, do not have your best interest at heart. They're more concerned about the illegal immigrants, the Mexicans, okay, and not concerned about African Americans. But yeah, Donald Trump, it's very, very tricky. Not until you bring in a democratic political contender that has African Americans' interests at heart, Black people's interests at heart. Okay, the Democratic Party is going to lose this election. Okay, and Donald Trump is going to have a second term. But then it won't be good for Africans or African Americans or Black people, but it will slow down the the push for the Democratic Party to phase out Black people in the United States. So you just have to choose the lesser of the two evils, and I think Donald Trump is the lesser of the two evils. Okay, the Republican Party is the lesser of the two evils when it comes to politics in the United States, because the Democrats want to undermine Black people in the United States. All right, they don't have your best interests at heart. Okay, and this is the reasons. This is politics when you're voting celebrities instead of very educated and smart people, right? Okay, So I'll conclude this article. Kenyans must conduct their businesses without competing with people. So this is according to I think Uhuru Kenyatta. Okay. Kenyans must conduct their businesses without competing with people from other countries. Pakistanis are dominating the sale of vehicles in Nairobi. Tanzanians and Ugandans are dominating in our market. We say enough is enough. If they are not sent home within 24 hours, we will kick and beat them, and we do not fear anybody, he says. So I'm sorry. This was the remarks of the politician by the name or alias the Jaguar. Okay, this is his name. So the Jaguar's name. Um, his name is Ngwanja or whatever, Charles Ngwanja. Okay, so this is his remark. Okay, so it's very, very xenophobic. But yeah, thank God nobody acted on that. He got arrested. Okay, so xenophobia has no place in modern Africa. We're moving forward. Okay, so family, that has concluded all the information that I wanted to share to you. We'll back out. We'll back out. What? Okay, so yeah, thank you. I'm back. Okay, I'm back to myself now. Yeah, so you know, um, it's been a lot of information to take in. I'm sure you really enjoyed it. Uh, you know, I want to say again, thank you for all the support that you guys have given to my channel. It's growing. Google Hangout is going to phase out very soon. We don't know what's going to happen next. We might not have this opportunity to be doing this. So make the most of it. Make the most of Google Hangout, family. If you're a major YouTuber, you know, make the most of it and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you all for my you know bringing my subscription to 514. We're growing. Okay, we're growing, and you know, my goal is, you know, promoting Pan Africanism. You know, educating, you know, everyone out there about Africa. You know, dispelling the myths and the misconceptions about African people. You know, African people have been doing great things through our history. Without Africa, there wouldn't be humanity. You know, African languages gave birth to all these languages that we see. Even the English, I mean, we speak across the world. The English language that we speak, okay, came out of Arabic, okay, and German and French and Latin, okay, and Spanish, okay. That's what, and all these European countries, their languages came out of Latin, and Latin came out of Egyptian languages, okay, because it came out of Greece, and Greece was educated by, you know, by the Egyptians, Africans. And so everything the world has, okay, Africa gave it to the world. Okay, and it's up to us now to recognize it and dispel the myths and the misconception and put ourselves on the stage, okay, the world stage. You know, this is not the time for us to back away. Okay, this is the time for us to move forward. 2019, okay, the year of liberation of the black mind and consciousness. So, you know, we're moving forward. Okay, we're moving forward, and this is why I do this. Okay, this is why I do this. Primarily, you know, I kind of sit back and, you know, watch people defame Africans, and you know, I could say my life is good here in Australia. You know, I have a decent job, I make decent money, I have a home on my own. You know, I could care less, but you know, I just can't. I just can't do it. I can't sit by and watch people defame Africans. You know, my mother is African, and I'm proud to be African. Okay, to the point where I even had to take my DNA test to verify if I was, you know, African enough. You know, and my DNA test came back 99.9% African. 99.9% African, even though my grandfather was said to be part German. Okay, I am 99.9% African. So I have a lot of pride. Okay, my pride in Africa goes deep. Okay, and I'm not very nationalistic at all. I am more of an integrationist and more of Pan-African. Okay. global unification of everyone of African descent, right? Okay, and you know, being a little bit radical, okay, we need an African superpower. Okay, this is what where my ambition is. So yeah, if you know, we won't stop. Okay, we won't stop until we see Africa compete globally. Okay, compete globally as a world superpower, a force to reckon with, right? So yeah, so yeah, to recap, you know, the economic community, or ECOWAS, the economic community of West African states, okay, have agreed to implement the okay, the which is the common currency uh, that would be used amongst all the 15 West African countries. You know, West Africa has 17 country, or officially 15 countries, with two observing countries like Morocco and Tunisia, and I think Libya, but I'm not too sure of what Libya is at the moment. But basically, so by the year 2020, the currency is going to be implemented mainly by Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and I think Guinea-Bissau. Okay, so these are English-speaking countries primarily, apart from Guinea-Bissau, which speaks French, but they do not use the CFA. And the only thing holding this back is the CFA. The countries that use the CFA franc, they are the only countries holding back the eco currency. Yeah, so hopefully they deal with that. Okay, hopefully they get rid of France off their back. Okay, France is causing Africa more harm than good. Okay, so they're leeching off us. Okay, France is leeching off Africa. Okay, that should be another stream that I should do another day. But France is literally riding on the back of Africans to date. So time to kick France off our back. Okay, implement this eco and gradually, you know, pull the rag out of under the feet of France. Okay, when it comes to the liberation of Africa entirely. Okay, entirely. And you know, true liberation comes with economic freedom. Okay, economic freedom, you know, and basically comes with mental freedom as well. So if you free your mind, you can achieve so much, so much. Everything will work out for you. So the way you see one another, you know, a fellow African, you see a fellow African smile, ask how you're doing. Like, I know growing up in Ghana, if you see another African, you shake hands, you do the shake hands and you click, right? You shake hands, you click, and you ask, how's the family? How's the house? How's the wife? How's the everybody? You ask everybody to even asking about how's the dog, you know. So this is how Africans we need to promote that. Okay, integration. See, when you see a fellow black person, smile, give him a handshake, ask how they're doing, wish them well. Okay, this is how we can do it when we're united. And also in the news, Nigeria has agreed to sign the African Free Trade. Okay, we've agreed to sign it. So by July 7th, the African Free Trade is meant to commence. So which is great for Africa. And also xenophobia is not permitted. Okay, the parliamentarian in Kenya has been arrested for making those xenophobic remarks. Okay, we do not need that. Okay, we do not need it. So yeah, rightfully so, he should be arrested. Right. So what's here? Niger boy, voting opens in 2020. Neymar, I thought I was number one. You Neymar, you're not number one. You are special. I would say you are special to me. Okay, you are special. You don't need to vote. Okay, you are special. You'll be elected, but still, the number one is still open. Okay, it's still open. Let's just leave it at that. All right. You know, I place you next to number one, but not number two. Okay, I won't make you number two since you've always been by my side. So yeah, but number one position is still vacant. Okay, it's still vacant. Okay, that would be the queen. That would be the queen of my kingdom. Okay, so yeah, we'll see about that. Niger boy, yeah. Wait, Chief. Wait for what? My president in Ukraine is a comedian. Oh shit, really? Oh, that's right. I saw that. He's a really young guy. Ah, shit. Okay. So the president of Ukraine is a comedian. How are people gonna take him seriously, family? Well, we know the problems in Ukraine. We know the problems in Ukraine. You have like the Russian president. Do you know how smart the Russian president is? He's a former KGB. You have a president of a country who is a former KGB, a secret intelligence personnel, as opposed to a comedian. Are you kidding me? Okay, so I think Ukraine is done for. All right, Ukraine will be annexed again by Russia. Okay, this is my prediction, right? He's not going to do much. Okay, he's not going to do much. A comedian for president. Okay, nobody's going to take him seriously. Okay, nobody's going to take him seriously. Okay, let's look at that. Niger boy, he just got sworn in last month. A comedian is now president in Ukraine. That's a joke, right? That's a joke. Literally, that's a joke. Okay, that's a joke. So I think Vladimir Putin is going to be in his office and he's going to be like, wah, 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 wah. He's going to just laugh, right? So yeah, I mean, Ukraine is for the taking. Okay, Russia is just going to roll tanks in there, and you can never take a comedian serious anyway. So basically, the romanticized version of a comedian, I mean, of a clown. Okay, is a comedian. That's it. In the past, comedians were clowns. They were called clowns, right? And another name for a clown is a fool. So basically, a comedian is a fool. Nobody takes you seriously. You're only there to entertain people and make people laugh. That's it. Okay. And the greatest sense of humor, okay, is self-abuse. The greatest form, I mean, the biggest form of humor is self-abuse. For people who abuse themselves, you see that a lot of funny people, okay, usually tell jokes about things that they've gone through that are actually harsh, things that are like they belittle their sufferings. When you listen to a comedian like Chris Rock, a lot of his jokes are based on the struggles of Black people. Most comedians. I love this guy by the name Russell Peters. Okay. He's Indian, and a lot of his jokes are about the struggles of Indians, the plights of Indians. So you can't really take comedian seriously, really. So yeah, we know Donald Trump is not a clown, but see how best he's doing for his country. So yeah, Niger boy, he does comedy show, and his role is the president. Oh really? That's interesting, right? So they just gave it to him, right? He just gave it to him, right? It reminds me of this comedy show in the United States. I forgot what it is. It's just two guys that have a green screen of the Oval Office, and they just make jokes about Donald Trump and the presidency of the United States. Imagine making them the president of the United States. That's a joke. You have Donald Trump just tweeting stupid things, okay, tweeting this and that. Okay, he pledged. I mean, he promised a full-fledged war against Syria. Okay, when the fake chemical attacks happened, uneducated enough. Okay, he launched nuclear. I mean, airstrikes against Syria. Little did he know that those videos were fake. Okay, this is what you get when you have clowns in office as president. So yeah, yeah. So I hope it goes well for Ukraine, but I do not see how you know a clown, basically a comedian, could be a good president. But we'll see. Um, so he came in with one policy: we don't like what we have. coming to change the system. So yeah, basically he came with the Obama's approach of bringing change, isn't it? So like the yes we can. Basically, he came with like yes we can type of thing. So yeah, and people, a lot of people are needing change. They're dying for change. So it is what it is. It's dysfunction. Okay, it's dysfunction. Anything goes. Anybody that presents a better deal, people go with that, and it's called dysfunction. So Ukraine is dysfunction. Okay, and it's very easy for Russia to come in and take Ukraine back. Right. Let's see what else is here. People are tired of what we have. So he joking us it would as he'd want us to run for president, and he did a poll jokingly and he won against all the other people. Oh, that's interesting. So we decided he should just make him. So we decided we should just make him run in real, and he's a nice guy though. No offense. I mean, well, we all know Donald Trump is an asshole, but yeah, I mean, nice comedians are generally nice people, very funny, very they're not too serious. Okay, you can't take them to be very very serious people, but it's when it comes to politics, it's a different ball game. Okay, politics needs a lot of brains. A lot of brains. That's why when you people elect politicians into office, and they're wondering, do these people have an ounce of brain? And do they have, even a pint of brain? Do they have like the brain of ants? Even if they did have the brain of ants, they would even do mightily well in office. But it turns out that they don't. A whole lot of politicians don't have brains. They don't have brains. Okay, it's power. It's power that's corrupted them. It's consumed them. Power is corrupted them. So there's this saying I may paraphrase, but if you want to see a person's true nature, give him power. That's it. Give them power. If you want to see people's true nature, give them power. That's it. So yeah. So politicians can do whatever they want to do. Can be prolific in prolifically astute. Okay, but when the moment you give them power, that thing goes through their head. Power goes through people's head. Okay, as the saying goes, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So yeah. So he's playing both right now. So yeah, two sides in Ukraine. You either roll against Western Europe, or you will roll with Russia. And he's playing both sides right now. So he's rolling with Russia and rolling with Western Europe. Okay. I think Ukraine would do really well if they roll with Russia. I'll be honest. But it's power struggle. They wanna control their own stuff. So yeah. But yeah. I think I am done. I am done with my stream. Is there anything else we'd like to discuss? Do you guys have anything to say? Naja boy, what do you think about Buhari? What do you think about Buhari? I have 3 more minutes and I'll close out, get ready for work. So Buhari, I doubted him. Okay, I didn't doubt him, but I just wrote him off because of he releasing that Mercedes Benz. He went to Morocco. Even the king of Morocco, okay, has his presidential ride is this very very old Mercedes Benz. Like it's really really old. Okay, and this is the king of Morocco. He hasn't updated his vehicle in a very very long time. The Mercedes Benz looks like it's something from the 1960s. Really really old. When you go to Britain, the Rolls Royce is like really really old. But then a country like Nigeria, which has nearly 200 million people and half the population is in poverty, and you are buying almost a $200,000 vehicle, custom made vehicle, Mercedes Benz, at the expense of your people. So I do not respect that at all. I do not respect that. I know Nigeria, when you speak of Nigeria, you're talking about money. Okay, there's money in Nigeria, but you don't blow money like that when your house is on fire. Okay, when your house is on fire. So but yeah, I applaud him for agreeing to sign the to ratify for the Africa Free Trade. It would go on with or without Nigeria anyway, but it's a good thing to have Nigeria on board. It will benefit Nigeria more. Okay, it will benefit Nigeria more. And also, I applaud him for signing onto the ECO currency, West African currency. So I mean, it's great grounds that these people have covered in recent times. Okay, so everything is right. Everything is happening very, very, very fast on the continent. So yeah. What's this? Niger boy willing to work with both sides. Yeah. Okay. The Joker. Yeah. Right. The Joker. Right. Again, Niger boy. I'll chat with you soon on WhatsApp. All right, family. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, we'll stay in touch on WhatsApp. Okay. Also, you can add me on Instagram. Okay. Niger boy, if you have Instagram, you can just go on my page. The link to my Instagram is on my page. Also, just search on Instagram Chiefdryno. Okay, Chiefdryno, and you'll find me on Instagram, and make sure you add me. All right, families. It's 12:30. I think I have exhausted my session here on Hangout. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for your contribution. Let's go through and see the guys that were here. Panther Assad, thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate you. Okay, Charity Bygrips, if you're catching the replay, thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate you. Ebrima Bajo, thank you for joining the stream. Ebrima Bajo, Ghana is doing great in economics. Sorry, I missed that comment before. Yeah, Ghana is doing quite well, but it could do exceedingly better. Okay. Again, I keep stressing on it. Ghana discovered oil. Okay, in 8 years, they drilled. The revenue was $24 billion, and Ghana only had $4 billion out of that. Okay, that is not good. That is not good. Okay, at least you need to get at least 70% of the benefits. So, yeah. So not until Ghana improves on that, it's child's play. Okay, it's childish. Charity Graves, we need a United States of Africa. I highly agree. Okay, thank you for joining the stream. Hope you catch the replay later. Yeah, who else was here? Ryan Names, thank you, family. Yeah, thank you for joining the stream again. Let's see who else was here. Richard Nixon. I mean, if you catch the replay, thank you, family. Okay, all the best to your studies. All right. Hashtag BAIO. Okay. Black African Infrastructure Organization. Okay, this is what it is. I'm getting tongue tied. Also, yeah, Onana Nation family, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, my beautiful sister. So keen to be my wife. I really appreciate that. Neymar Backner. Okay, you have no competition, Neymar. Okay, you're always dear to my heart. All right. And yeah, and Niger boy, Mr. McDolly. Okay, really appreciate you, family. So yeah, I'll chat with you later. So yeah, I really appreciate all of you. Again, thank you for making my channel a success. Thank you for making my channel a success. All right. Okay, until next time, family. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.